Let's welcome in Seven Rivers Racing here on KQEG-TV. I'm Dan Dyker along with Al Losi, getting ready for the Frost Buster event at the Crosse Speedway. And then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to really start things off at the Speedway on May 4th. And before we get into the show, I do want to pass along our heartfelt condolences to all those affected at the Boston Marathon. On my radio gig, I interviewed some folks that were just feet from the finish line, and it's kind of carried heavy heart all week long from one sport into another sport. So those that were in this area that were out there, our condolences are going out to all the families and friends of the folks that happened out at the Boston Marathon. Closer to home, well, we are getting ready for the Frost Buster event on Saturday night at the Crosse Speedway. Of course, Mother Nature, rain, sun, rain. I didn't care what the forecast looked like this week as long as it was clear on Saturday.
Yeah, and unfortunately Saturday, you know, our race shop is up on a bluff, and so we're sitting there wondering how practice is going to go at the track, and then I go down to Menards and find out that it's dry down below. So I called up the team, and we got out there. We ended up getting on the track for about an hour. It was an hour we should not have been on the track. We ended up causing a little bit of problems for ourselves. Kirshner was out there. Eckelbergs were out there. It was a good day to practice, though, especially for opening day, because this Saturday looks like it's going to be the same kind of weather.
I was out there. We taped a couple of our segments that you're going to see on today's show, just when the snow is still coming down in the morning. And on today's program, the number 51 Exhaust Plus Sportsman driver, Justin Mullikin, and our very own flagman, Greg Oliver, is going to be joining us in the program today. Not only does he flag at La Crosse, but he also flagged the Big 8 race at the Rockford Speedway last weekend. And he has the Great Northern Sportsman Series starting this year. It's going to be a nice sportsman-type series traveling throughout the Midwest and then wrapping up at Oktoberfest. So those are going to be our two guests in the program. And I spent about 4.5 hours at the open practice last Saturday. Got out of there about 1 o'clock. And tell you what, Todd Korish, coming off that track championship, I don't know if he was still there when he got there,
yes.
But wait till you see Korish's car this year. He comes back with the clown on the hood. But the number variation that they set on the side, it was one of his crew members that actually designed that car. Pretty sharp this year.
You know, they come up with the most creative things. We bring out our car and we think, wow, we got a brand new car. It looks awesome, and it does. But then Todd, with his body shop and all the guys that work on it, man, that sucker looks nice.
And Brent Kirshner was out. Jonathan Eckelberg and his brand new late model was out. Mm-hmm. His sister Mandy will be powering his Exhaust Plus Sportsman this year. And really I think she did a really nice job getting on that track. She said she was nervous as all get out, and a local TV station was following the entire Eckelberg clan around during open practice. But once the track dried, I would say between 11:30 and noon, she really started opening things up a little bit and started getting a little bit more comfortable than we thought she would have on the first day out.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that, but I did talk to Kurt, and I think that they were pretty darn pleased. And I think that they feel that she's got a little more speed in her to catch up to the car. And that's what it is when somebody gets into a new vehicle in a new division. You have to decide whether the car is faster or the driver is faster. And then you've got to work to get those two simpaticoed together in order to get the most speed out of that.
Well, another practice was held on Thursday night, and maybe giving some drivers a better chance. Like Jonathan Eckelberg, it's really hard when you're first year in a late model, and turns 3 and 4 were just a little bit damp, so you really couldn't open it up, but I know he had a good time out there. A lot of Hornets came out. I think we're going to have probably upwards of about 10 new Ants Complete Pest Control Hornets at the racetrack this year. And I know Cole Shozy was out with one, and he took him about a week to put together. Logan Dinasha is another name you're going to be familiar with here soon enough. He is a recent high school grad from Sparta High School. Remember him when he used to wrestle for the Sparta Spartans there in high school. And some of the old comers going to be coming back out again. Looking at the Rookie of the Year list so far, I saw 3 names going for Rookie of the Year for late model. There are about 5 on the list for the Sportsmen, including Rob Curran's son, Rob Jr., who is a burnout competitor usually at our street drags, and only 1 on the list for Thunderstocks. Now, that doesn't mean that they have not all had a chance to declare yet. You know, right. We see a lot of drivers just pop up out of the woodwork that last week of racing into week number 1, or if they didn't have their setups and their cars ready to go. Right. We see them pop up week number 2.
That, and then sponsors suddenly come through with a little bit more money, a race or two in, and then suddenly somebody can have a great performance their first year out and end up doing really well in the points battle and be a contender for Rookie of the Year.
Things starting to shape up at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway as well on Saturday. Again, we do pre-tape this show. So the Saturday the 20th is the Mississippi Thunder car show and swap meet held at a dealership just inside Winona. A lot of the different classes they have. There's 6 different classes. You're going to see a lot of their cars on display, clean, no dirt attached as of yet. Some of the wrap jobs those guys do up there is just fantastic as well. And then to coincide with the car show, they're going to have a swap meet. So if you're a driver, it doesn't really matter what kind of car you have, or you could have a Thunder stock, same thing as a pure stock up at Mississippi Thunder. Good chance to maybe get some reasonable parts and to start stockpiling, whether it's shocks or springs, whatever the case may be. Good time to head up there. Again, that's going to be Saturday the 20th from about 10 until 2. And I'll be up there with my other announcer, Dan Bailey, for a little while. Then we're going to kick things off at the Crosse Speedway as we get ready for the Frost Buster 2013 event. That will be late models, Sportsmen, and Thunder stocks to kick off the 2013 race season. Coming up on the program, again, you're going to see some snow flurries. This was taped last week and during open practice. Justin Mullikin and Greg Oliver are going to join me and just help me dance in between the snowflakes. So hopefully we can get rid of that before what comes up during the Frost Buster. More to come here on Seven Rivers Racing. This is KQEG TV.
When you're all out of good ideas and you've moved on to the dumb ones, it's time. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, a higher standard of comfort.
Oh, so lovely. It's a Cousin Sub's cheesesteak. It's an Italian cheesesteak and a double cheesesteak.
Score!
It's another Cousin Sub's cheesesteak.
It's a Philly. You got the whole set! I know.
Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day.
I'm so happy.
Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right, 7 days a week you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman.
Hi, folks. Welcome in Seven Rivers Racing here at KQEG TV. You know, a couple of weeks ago when we kicked the show off, we were out here at the Crosse Speedway, and we had a lot of snow and we had a lot of ice. Well, open media and open practice day today, Mother Nature just doesn't want to give up the reins yet, as we are still out here on media day. And we have 2 cars that have shown up. We expect a lot more because the snow is supposed to be tapering off by the time we wrap things up at 3 o'clock. But we thought we'd grab a driver that we've only had on once here in the past couple of years, and a brand new Sportsman ride this year. He's not new to the class, but his car is, and that will be the number 51 of Justin Mullikin. Justin, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good to see you again. I'm doing fantastic and getting ready to shake things down, huh?
Yes, definitely. Excited to get on the track for the first time and see how things are going to go after a whole winter preparation.
I even had some dirt guys up from Mississippi Thunder Speedway hit me on Facebook today to ask, hey, can I bring my pure stocks down? Because it's been a long winter for a lot of drivers, and a lot of these guys have been chopping at the bit to get back out here, and especially you, because there's a couple of new things for you this year. Number one, as you look behind us here, brand new top-to-bottom Sportsman.
Yep. Actually, the chassis is still the same. All new body, all new motor combination. Trying a little bit different stuff as far as setup goes, so kind of excited to get out today and see how it's going to work.
Jason's one, as long as I've been out here announcing, has had, I think, 3 different cars. I remember the first year I came out, figured it was a NASCAR track, and I'd seen pictures of late models, and Justin had an old yellow number 11, if memory serves me correctly.
Yep, it was a 1966 Chevelle. It was a huge car. was an old car, and it was definitely very different than what was out with the rest of the class.
And then you flipped to a Cougar that you had out here for several years, and really looked nice last year.
Yep, and that was actually in 2011 I got that car. It's the same chassis that's underneath this body. It's a 1996 Mercury Cougar, running all Chevy underneath.
So now you haven't had a chance to shake this down, so that's going to be one neat thing for you today. But the other thing is, if you look in the back of Justin's truck, he's got Goodyears on the Sportsman, but there was a new rule this year that the Sportsman class is going to be running the Hoosier tire, and that's brand new to you as well, and all the other Sportsman drivers.
Yep, definitely is. Goodyear kind of threw us a curveball at the end of the year and decided that they weren't going to make our tires anymore. So we had to make the decision to go to Hoosiers. So the first 1 or 2 sessions today, I'm going to stick to the tires that I'm used to, and then switch over to the new ones and see how close they are and what the differences are.
Now, something we were talking about off camera, the late models here ran Hoosiers forever. Does that help the Sportsman class that it's going to be the same rubber that's going to be on the track?
It may not. We won't know until we kind of get a couple weeks under our belts and see how they match up. Being that they're from the same manufacturer, I would expect that they should mesh a little bit better than the Goodyears to the Hoosiers did before.
And again, we're at the Crosse Speedway for Open Media Day and the very first open practice. Of course, everything gets underway next weekend with a Frost Buster opening night, and then we're going to be taking a break and then re-kicking the season off again actually on May 4th. A lot of people have asked me, is this a points race for the Frost Buster? It is, because to run NASCAR points, you have to run the 18 nights. And, you know, this is something I really want to do this year, is shed more light on that. We talk about the Todd Korsh and the Jay Herbst that win the Wisconsin NASCAR Points Championship, and a lot of folks don't realize, unless they hear it from me or they're a seasoned pro out here, that you guys run for NASCAR points as well.
Yes, we do. We are included in the Division II asphalt program. Late models are Division I, which is the top tier of the series. So when we race, we're included with everyone else in the country, and we definitely go for a national title as well.
And, of course, the Thunderstocks run under the Division III asphalt points. And, you know, I think it's been quite a while since we've had someone win that outright here in the state of Wisconsin. I think the closest we had might have been maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if it was Danny Gilster was in the top 3 and actually held the points lead until the last couple of nights. So, you know, for a lot of people that don't come out here, don't realize the Sportsman racing out here, that's kind of neat to say you run for NASCAR points, but you're not in a late model.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's really cool to be able to look every week and see where you're ending up in the national standings and how you're competing with everybody else. And generally, if you're in the top 10 in points here, you're going to be in the top 100 in the country, so that's pretty cool.
Justin Mullikin, our guest on the Seven Rivers Racing Show here at KQEG-TV. Open practice day. We're waiting for more cars to come out, and first laps to be put down for the 2013 season. Now, how long have you been racing here at La Crosse, and what keeps bringing you back?
I started back in 2005, kind of on a whim. A friend of mine was racing Hornets, and I kind of said, I can do better than you, and that's how it started. I raced Hornets for 2 years, bought a Sportsman, took a year off to kind of prepare for that, and then came back out with that.
And, of course, you pit pretty much in the same spot, and you've made quite a few friends out here racing, primarily in the past couple years when Billy Martin started racing. You guys have pretty much formed a semi-team, I guess you could say.
Yep. We're actually pretty much a full-blown team. You know, we help each other with everything. We share some equipment. I do most of the setup stuff on his car, so we're definitely a full-blown team like you'd see in NASCAR.
And when you get someone that's been here before, of course, if you look at someone like Billy Martin, and hopefully we can get him out here today, that never had raced before. I mean, the only thing he was doing it with a joystick and a steering wheel from a gaming system. Has he had to lean on you quite a bit to say, you know, what do I do in this situation, or maybe camber and things like that?
As far as driving style, not really. Setup, he's still learning, so I have all the equipment as far as scales and caster camber gauge and everything to get him pointed in that direction. So he's definitely learning more and more every year as far as setup goes, and he's getting better with it. So yeah,
that's one of the neat things with the Sportsman. You know, it's like that with every class, is whether you're a rookie or a seasoned pro here at the La Crosse Speedway, helping everybody else out. I mean, your competitors once you get on that big 5/8 mile oval, but in the pits here, and I walk through here all the time, there's a lot of friendships built and a lot of help that's out there for other drivers.
Yep, definitely. And it kind of ends up working out with who you buy down in the pits. You have to kind of get close to them to a certain extent because you never know if they might be able to help you or you can help them or vice versa.
Real quick, before we wrap up this segment, who are your sponsors for 2013?
In 2013, I got Architectural Metal Specialist returning for the main sponsor. Stephanie Schaefer came back with SJ Custom Design and Custom Design Photography. Dee and Paul Euler, Bill's Automotive, and 2 Guys in a Dumpster.
Alrighty, Justin Mullikin's going to be powering the Exhaust Plus 51 Sportsman this year. Of course, we have a new title sponsor. They are the Exhaust Plus Sportsman, and Justin Mullikin, one of those that you're going to be seeing here at the La Crosse Speedway. When we return, more from the La Crosse Speedway as we get set for the Frostbuster event here to kick off the 2013 racing season. That's Justin Mullikin. I'm Dan Dyker. This is Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right. 7 days a week, you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman. Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right. 7 days a week, you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV. Media Day, open practice day at the La Crosse Speedway. Getting ready for the Frostbuster event here at the La Crosse Speedway. And then we're going to be taking a week off and coming back May 4th. And guest we had on here, didn't have him on last year, but we had him on a couple of years ago. And we're going to have him on for a couple of reasons. He is the man with the sticks here at the Speedway. Been here for many years. And that is our flagman, Greg Oliver. Greg, how are you?
Kind of cool today, Dan, but I'm ready to go.
Is this going to be one of the colder ones we've had in as long as I've been out here?
Yeah, I would say this has got to be about the coldest practice day we've tried to have so far.
Well, Greg, of course, has been flagging. Now, you not only flag here, but you flag for the Big 8 Series.
Correct, the Big 8 Series. For the last 8 years I've been doing that, and this will be 14 years of flagging here at La Crosse.
What inspired you to become a flagman? It's one of those things at the racetrack that you have the announcer and you have the promoter and you have the drivers and you have the tech guys, but someone never stops and says, why did you want to be a flagman?
Well, I raced for many years out here, and when I got done I wanted to stay involved. So I worked 1 year in the pit area, and then Lefty Krybeck, our flagman at the time, left, and I thought, that was probably the next thing to try and do, and it's awesome. It's the best seat in the house, let me tell you.
And there's so many intricacies behind it, believe it or not. And people are going to laugh right now when they hear me say this. Well, everybody knows if there's a wreck that it's going to be a yellow, and if it's a standing red, but there's a lot more behind flagging than what meets the eye.
Yeah, it's not as simple as it looks, even from behind the wheel of a race car. It seems pretty simple, but it's sometimes hard to watch the whole race because you can't watch one part or one guy. You got to watch the whole race, and it sometimes when they get spread out, it gets difficult to see everything.
One thing I think is neat is as long as I've watched racing, we're going all the way back to the early 70s, every flagman has their own technique, and it's either the way they stand, the way that they get on one foot and they do it, or the way that they move the flags. Do you find that you have your own unique technique of flagging?
If I do, it's just evolved. You start out doing it what you think all the guys do, and pretty soon you got to deal with wind and race cars and everything else, and you just develop what works for you in the stand. And I guess if I have my own technique, it's just evolution and kind of the way it evolved.
One advantage Greg has here at the asphalt track compared to a dirt track. You ever seen what those guys look like when they walk away from a dirt track?
Yeah, I'd like to try it sometime, but I'm sure you wouldn't want to wear white.
Yeah, you're going to be walking away a little bit cleaner. And the other thing I think is really neat is when I'm up on the tower and I watch you flag, I watch the kids that are down below that try to, there's one little boy that's been here at least the past 2 or 3 years that's down towards the front row that tries to mimic everything you do. How does that make you feel that these kids, I don't know if you ever get a chance to watch them or not, try to do what you do or just flag, period?
I think it's pretty cool that the little kids that I don't think if they're trying to mimic me or they just they're enthused and involved, and that's neat. We got to keep the kids, the little ones, involved all the way through this, and if pretending to be the flag man on a Saturday night is what it takes, then I'm all for it. They're fun to watch. Sometimes they're better than I am, I think.
Well, the other reason we have Greg Oliver on the program today is not just to talk flagging, but there's a new series that Greg started here. I want to say it was back in maybe November, December. You might even been brewing under your hat longer than that. The great, I'm going to let you name the title because I don't want to get the title of it wrong, but a new Sportsman series.
It's the Great Northern Sportsman series. We announced it right before Christmas this last year in 2012. Had a drivers meeting in Madison at the Racers Auction Expo, and had a really good turnout from there, and I think we're going to do pretty well. I think we have a lot of interest and a lot of enthusiasm right now.
Now let's kind of break that down a little bit. The schedule starts very fittingly Memorial Weekend at Columbus at the 151 Speedway. Now, if people hear this and they haven't heard of your series yet and they think Oktoberfest, we have our sportsmen during Oktoberfest, and we have area sportsmen where you bring in like the Brent Canes. Just name comes to mind because he's got such a fast car. When you look at the rules, who are they shadowing off of?
Basically, the rule book that we put together takes the rules from the Dells, Jefferson, Columbus, Rockford. We took their rule book because their rules are essentially word for word the same from those tracks. And we adjusted to fit in the lacrosse cars, other area tracks that we anticipate somebody showing up from, and basically adding weight or subtracting weight from those basic rules to try to bring everybody, make everybody competitive.
And now on the schedule, you're looking at 5 or 6 races this year.
Right, 5 races. We have the Columbus one. We do one in June at Veterans Raceway in Toma, another one in August at Veterans Raceway, and then we'll do Rockford's National Short Track Championships and run our championship event here at Fest.
Gee, another championship here at Fest just to keep the excitement going. And so what's the talk been like so far? I mean, I know right off the bat I had a couple of people call me and say, hey, I saw something on Facebook about a new Sportsman series. What's the talk been like so far with drivers?
There's been a lot of enthusiasm. I think there's a desire for sportsman guys to do a little bit of traveling. We're trying to make sure that we keep it within reason of what their budgets can afford. So we're looking at 5 or 6 races at a max. And I've had guys from basically all over the state and up at Elko up and that way. Those guys at least send me an email or something asking what the deal is and what we're doing. So the enthusiasm has been pretty good.
And that's the information we want to get now. And I know Jesse's going to throw it up on the screen here in a moment for folks as well. If they want more information, how can they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me. The email is racegnss@gmail.com, or they can call me. The phone number is on my Facebook page and our website.
And the website
is greatnorthernsportsman.com.
All righty, Greg Oliver is going to be running the program this year. Hopefully we get a lot of cars in that because I can't wait to see what happens down here at La Crosse once they run their championship during Oktoberfest. Greg Oliver, the flagman here, longtime flagman with the La Crosse Speedway. You've also seen him with the yellow shirts on with the Big 8 Series, and you'll see him running the Sportsmen throughout the Midwest this year as well. More to come here at the La Crosse Speedway for open practice and media day, getting ready for the Crossbuster opener on KQEG TV.